Introduction to Exporting Data. How do we create a data set to be used for other types of software? In this presentation, I'm going to be talking about 4 different ways that we can take a SAS data set and create a data set that can be used by other software programs. The 4 different ways that we can create a data set to be used by other programs include, first of all, the export wizard, which is very similar to the import wizard that we've used throughout this class. We are also going to talk about the export procedure, where we actually write the code that is normally generated by the export wizard. We can also use the output delivery system, ODS, to create a data set that can be used by other software. And finally, we can create a data set within the data step itself. And this tends to be a more complicated way to create a raw data file, but you have more control when you work within the data step. With the export wizard, you can take a SAS data set and produce an Excel spreadsheet. So you can export either a temporary or a permanent SAS data set. And the variable labels become the column headers of your Excel spreadsheet. The export procedure can be used to create comma-delimited, tab, or space-delimited files. And the general syntax for the export procedure is proc export, data equals, and you give the name of the SAS data set that you want to export. And then you have an out file equals, and you give the file name and directory where you want this data set written. And then there's an opportunity to list some options. Using the output delivery system, ODS, I am going to talk specifically about how we can create comma-separated or CSV files. So here, as we've seen before, the commas separate the data values, and strings are going to be enclosed in quotes when you create a CSV file. And to do this with ODS, we're going to make use of proc print. So the general syntax for creating a CSV file is going to be ODS, CSV, and then we have file equals and our file directory and file name with the extension CSV. And then underneath the ODS statement, we place our proc print statements and a run statement, and then we have our ODS, CSV, close. So this is very similar to the type of ODS code we've used earlier in the class when we created RTF files, except now we're actually going to be creating a data set. And the last method that I am going to talk about is how we can create a raw data file within the data step. This method tends not to be used as often because it's a little more complicated. However, it does allow complete control over the contents and formats of the raw data file that you want to create. To create a raw data file within the data step, you are going to make use of the file and put statements. So writing raw data is similar to reading in raw data, in that we're going to use a file statement instead of an in-file statement, and we're going to be using a put statement instead of an input statement. So we will be looking at examples of this in the demonstration video. Now view the SAS demonstration video, Export Data.